Alright fellas, here we're back on Pokemon Masters, and we're going to be looking at Sygna Suit, Steven, and Deoxys at 1 out of 5. 6-star EX. So this character's finally made it back to a rerun. First with the Mix Scout, which doesn't count, not really anyway. And then of course the Select Scouts for the new year, right? With the Tech Scout being, allowing you to pick any Tech character, Tech Pokefair. So, Steven of course in that pool. Awesome. A lot of people now probably have him, or not a lot, but you know, a decent chunk more than when he released a year and a half ago. Still have not had a free rerun, but of course, knowing with Sygna Suit Leon, just getting his first free rerun after 2.5 years, I think? Yeah, makes sense. Anyway, I digress. So this character, people are probably wondering how well has he aged through the 2,500 point era and the 3,000 point era for Stadium. Pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good, I'm gonna be honest with you. He still does great damage. His tank form is still really tanky. He's still got some good sync countdown, and his normal form is still just as useless as it was before. Trust me, because I tried to get a battle to work, and well, the only thing that I would see you would ever use this form for is flinching, and it's a 60% flinch chance, which is fine, but not really something I would use Steven for. I would rather just use Winona or someone else, or like Special Custom Sygna, who is a 70% flinch chance. Point being, using this form of Deoxys is mostly a waste, because otherwise you would just get better utility otherwise just by using the attack form and doing damage, really, in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, of course, attack form's still really strong. 500 attack plus a 200 base power move with 120% innate multiplier, which is basically like a striker sync move. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Speed form rather. Still got great sync countdown capabilities with the Afflictor's Fervor, as well as the reducing sync countdown on entry. We'll see that in a little bit. And of course, the defense form here has really, really good bulk, of course, as usual, and really good defensive utility. So very nice anyway. So let's go ahead, hop into some battles. I've got literally, I think, 6 lined up. So let's go and look at them. Hero versus Flint. This is literally just for the people who want to see big, crazy numbers. This is not like an actual real part of showing what Steven can do in different scenarios. This is just Steven with absolute maximum power. So we got Psychic Rebuff with Neo Champion Rosa, as well as her Master Passive, and then Psychic Terrain with the little kitty over here. We got Espeon. Obviously, the better Psychic Terrain setter is like Sygna Suit Lana, but I don't have her, and Anniversary May as well. But guess what? I don't have her, so this is what you're getting. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, because the special moves next from Steven's Power Combo passive, as well, Power Chain, whatever the fuck it's called, that passive, as well as from Rosa, are just going to be buffing his special moves next to a pretty good amount, and yeah. Those are some things you're going to see commonly. Steven just one-shotting sides turn 2, because thankfully with his the first use of his move, you get +6 special attack and +3 crit. So you can literally start attacking at your pretty much maximum power, literally turn 2, which is very, very good, right? Other than getting like special moves next to Psychic Terrain or Psychic Rebuff, you're not going to be really having to worry about anything. And then we use the Sync move here, which has innate Rising Tide, 30,000 damage. And it's very easy to activate his Rising Tide as well. It literally is just, he gets +9 stats, literally, for existing, right? And then you can get the defensive buffs, speed buffs, whatever, from your teammates, or whatever else you may be, or whatever else you may want. Sadly, it's not like V-Create with Psycho Boost, where you get defense, speed, and special defense. But, you know, special attack's also good, I guess, so it's nice. Anyway, I digress, yeah, so Steven's still gonna destroy your Psychic Weak stages, whatever. Let's go ahead and go to an actual use of his attack form, I guess, off-type. Here we are versus Bertha for the, pretty much, I guess, Hoenn ramping? Sure. Either way, it's triple Unova with Sygna Suit Brendan and Archie. Archie was mostly here to get rid of the weather and also apply part of his Master Passive to Steven, as well as make use of AoE damage and whatnot. So, I forget how the setup goes, because I did this last night. I was busy yesterday, man. It was something. Biggest problem with this team is that Gauge sucks. And that's most of the problems that I found with doing a lot of these setups, is that Gauge sucked. Not really so much because of Steven, but, you know, 4-gauge move. Gauge is bound to not be the best in the world. But it's just the setups I was using was mostly reliant on, like, fast, quick clears, but then you would be, like, 4-gauge move users and 3-gauge move users and, well, no Gauge. Mostly what I figured I found myself in, but it wasn't really that big of a problem for this setup specifically. I did want to use Brendan's Sync move, but I wanted to get in as much damage with Steven as possible. And as you can see here, with the special defense buffs, that's a lot of damage. +1 accuracy, +6 special attack, +3 crit, and +4 special defense from Brendan. Pretty good for getting Steven some quick buffs, right? Probably would have been better to go for that Psycho Boost on that side there, so we could have, you know, done a Deathless clear, but oh well. And there we go, we KO'd them with Archie. literally just perfect off type. The thing is, I wanted to do this setup against multiple different enemies, but Bertha ended up being the absolute best to tackle because she had lower health than all of them. Despite her weather being a little bit annoying, she was actually somewhat still easier to deal with. It's just that Flint is psychic weak, so that pretty much excludes him already. Aaron has got endurance and is just an absolute pain. He's got a ton of HP as well in first aid too. No, I'm good. And then there was Lucian, who was wise entry, so he was pretty much off the table since the beginning. And then there was Cynthia, who was basically kind of a repeat of Bertha, but I didn't feel like beating Elite Four, so sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to the next showcase for defense form. Alright, here we are with the defense form showcase. This is pretty much just building up Emmett as quick as possible, and then using Kukui for Leer. Kukui is literally just here for Leer. You can replace him with any other defense, AoE defense debuffer, or single target, however you want to do it. I don't really care. We just went ahead and used Kukui because fuck it. But of course, Screech works just fine. So we go ahead, we go into the defense form here, and the defense form is so bulky. And once you use Iron Defense, you're also able to raise special defense as well, which special defense also gets raised whenever you use any status move. So the recovery here as well is able to actually raise ally special defense. Not that it really matters too much. And this is the one battle where Lucian is actually preferred because he's wise entry, so and obviously he's gonna excel here. Could have done this with some sort of off-type character, but really a little bit more effort than it's worth. And you can see Steven's tanking is great, right? His tanking is great, and mostly you're going to be using this form if you really need a lot of bulk, or if you just need to activate like the defense buffing, like Towering Force, Tough Cookie, Smart Cookie, all those type of multipliers, right? So do keep that in mind. And I guess like Scholar Sync, whatever it's called. And there we go, we're able to just murder the enemies with special custom edit. No problem, right? So again, defense form, mostly going to be used if you really need that hard wall prowess where you're just like bulky god or something like that. But really, you could probably replace him with like Aura Cynthia in that regard, because she's obviously relegated to specifically being a support. But this form is also extremely good because you can pick up the times 3 support damage parameter because Steven is still a tech, but he's taking the role of a support, so you get those 100 free points, right? Which is very, very nice. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on to the next battle where we utilize speed form to do some sync ramping. Gotta love it. Here we are for the showcase for the speed form. This one probably... trying to think of it. No, this one actually does prefer the speed form because the big thing with the speed form is it's got sync ramping, gauge acceleration, speed buffs for just himself, but still it's fine, and then evasion, which is the big thing. So if you combine those evasion buffs with accuracy debuffs from someone like BP Faulkner here or Ingo, you can get yourself a lot of opportunities to where the enemy just can't hit you, and it's really fun. We also use Faulkner here to use defog so we can get rid of enemy shields, such as critical hit defense, giving us extra points in the parameters. It makes things look a lot easier for us, right? So again, Steven just dodges everything for the most part, right? Obviously, evasion buffs are a lot more niche now because apparently enemies just get pinpoint entry at the ass. Literally pretty sure every enemy here besides Flint has pinpoint entry or something. I forget which one. One of them doesn't, but it's fucking stupid. They all literally have pinpoint entry or some sort of accuracy buffing, which is annoying. But we're able to use the accuracy debuffs here as well in conjunction with the sync ramping to do a lot of good stuff with Sygna Suit Lusamine because she has hide and sync and whatnot, and she can just do some pretty good damage overall. Again, we face Bertha here because she's just the easiest to fight for this. Again, you got Aaron, who is absolute pain in the ass to fight. Then you got Flint, who's psychic weak, and then again, can't fight Lucian. He's got psychic shit, so whatever. Either way, we're able to get the win in here with no real issue. We got ourselves to -3 accuracy on the enemy there. And of course, the sand running out, very, very good. Obviously, this leaves just Lusamine alive, and of course you could do this with no deaths. It's literally just reliant on if Steven dodges or not, or the enemies miss, or whatever. There's so many factors to consider. Dodge is very unreliable, but again, the biggest thing with here was the sync ramping, where we're able to get a lot of sync countdown in, get our sync moves in quickly, and then of course use the accuracy debuffs and whatnot to buff Sygna Suit Lusamine's sync move, do as much damage as possible. That's really all it is. Definitely the sync ramping can be very, very useful because he gets -2 on using the speed form, and then he gets -2 upon using his first status move, so recover or cosmic power, whatever he's got, double team, all that stuff. Very, very nice. So yeah, you can make full use of that in a lot of different setups. This one is just the best for me, in my opinion, because I like using Sygna Suit Lusamine, and he's able to enable her relatively well because of the sync countdown and whatnot. So yeah, let's move on to the next showcase where we'll be using the normal form, and again, normal form, pretty much useless in my opinion. Here we are, we're going to use the normal form for its psychic turning purposes and try to use its flinch purpose. I don't fucking know. Really, the 60% flinch chance is not bad, but I don't see a real point in using this form solely for that. Obviously, you get the Psychic Train on the form's activation, but it's not extended. You can't reapply it. So its only real use is very, very fast setups where you literally have 3 turns to deal with Psychic Terrain, or like if you have the infinite field parameter, but really I would still probably just use Bianca or something. So yeah, either way, we use the flinch there to make sure Lisa stays alive for a little bit, but it really doesn't even end up mattering. I just gave up, honestly. I did this setup so many damn times that I was just done. I didn't really care too much. It just didn't care. So we go ahead and do that there. I probably should have attacked the Infernape there on our second Psychic, but I went ahead and targeted the Emboar because I thought, based on how turns worked, that it would have just... basically what I thought was not the case. Alright, I thought I would have gone to Emboar there, but it did not. So we could have used that Steven Psycho boost for a little bit of extra damage, but it really doesn't matter anyway. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Either way, this form has like Cosmic Power and Recover, which you'll never use because bulk stats are not really high enough. Psycho Boost, which you will probably use for damage, but it's like got like 290 some special attack, which isn't bad, but why not just use the attack form if you want to do damage? I don't really see a purpose in it. And then again, the Zen Headbutt flinching and fuel economy stuff, that's nice, 60% chance, but really it would have been a lot more impactful if it was 80%. Really just bring any other flincher and you can get a better job done. Or just any other 60% flinch chance unit, and you pretty much have Sygna Suit Steven's normal form. Like, there you go. You want Sygna Suit Steven? There's your Sygna Suit Steven at home. It's any other character with a 60% flinch chance. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. There is the normal form showcase. I would never use this form. Let's move on to the final part where we use him with New Year's Wallace, because I actually got him. Originally, I was just going to end this video with the last part, the last segment, but I actually ended up getting New Year's Wallace a little bit earlier in the morning before I started recording the second parts of these showcases. So I went ahead and used them. I would have definitely probably replaced the Archie setup with this one, but I figure I already used them both. May as well just record and use them both, so why not? So, I'm going to use Wallace here with Steven. Steven is definitely one of the... Wallace and Steven work well together. I don't know which one's the bigger benefiter of which, but Steven's definitely very good alongside other characters like Anniversary May and whatnot, but Wallace here is actually a really solid partner as well, especially on obviously triple Hoenn setups, because we pretty much got ourselves another Hoenn Master passive here. And then we of course got the great damage that Wallace is able to provide, which I'll probably post a showcase on Wallace. Probably. I'm not too sure yet. I'd have to figure out a lot of the different gimmicks and whatnot, because it really looks like you're just going to play the same play style just against different stages. But he looks good. He really does look really solid as a character, honestly. Especially just a 1 out of 5 where you don't have any dupes. He looks pretty strong. Not like a crazy worthwhile thing to pick up, but good enough. I mean, we go ahead, we use the Luster Purge here. Able to get -2 on the special defense, and you can see Wallace's damage, and he can do some pretty good damage, right? Like, you look at the Max Flare here, we use it, set up Sun, get rid of the sand, which is very nice, thank God. The gradual healing is annoying. But we do about 6,000 damage there, which is pretty good. Worst part, again, we don't really have too much gauge. But Steven there's actually able to do a lot of damage with his attack form. Like, what was that, 8,000 damage, 6,000 damage, something like that, just for +1 special moves next? Pretty damn good, I would say. We use Wallace with the Strange Flames Mind Blown here. You do a pretty good amount of damage, especially for an AoE move with no split damage. It's probably why they did that. I probably shouldn't have gone for that Protect, because I forgot we had Endurance. I forgot how we got Endurance. I think it was off the Max move, wasn't it? Yeah, we got the Max, off the Max move, I think we got the Endurance. But hey, it worked out for us, right? So there we go, either way, boom, 4,000 damage on those Strange Flames Mind Blown. So Steven and Wallace, definitely good partners for a lot of good special damage. I would just probably not bring Sygna Suit Brendan in this instance. Even if you are getting a little bit of less power, I would just bring someone who can actually supply gauge for that team, because powering off Psycho Boosts and Strange Flames Mind Blowns are going to be really strong. Sygna Suit Morty, probably the best support for that setup, but anyway, yeah. I digress. That is the showcase for Sygna Suit Steven and Deoxys. These characters are fun. These characters are mad fun. These forms are mad fun, rather. Attack form, obviously, is still extremely dominant in the power department. You're not going to see much that's competing, especially relative to Steven's age, at 1 out of 5 specifically. Defense form is very solid in terms of bulky wall type, just don't take damage type of characters. And then obviously you got the speed form with its great sync countdown capabilities, giving you a lot of different sprint-esque situations, especially if you give him like Head Start 1 or Adrenaline or something like that as well. Definitely very, very nice. And normal form, it exists. So I digress. Sygna Suit Steven definitely aged very, very well. And obviously if you really want to pick this character up but you don't know how good he is, well, now you do. He's very, very good still. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Good luck on your summons for whatever you're doing, and I'll see you all later.